Welcome everybody to Club Deck Corner here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We're here to round up some Rangers news and we're going to discuss a wee bit of the Euros so far. Can I give our thoughts on that? So first of all, I'm your host Scott Carney and joining me today is Ali Pearson. Ali, how's it going, mate?
Not too bad. Halfway through the week, so we're halfway towards the weekend. That's the way I look at it.
That's the way we all look at things just now, mate. It's just constantly living for the weekend. I actually forgot to mention the last time we were on, mate. We didn't talk about our half podders day out. It was quite a good day, wasn't it?
It was eventful, to be fair. But no, it was a good day. We had a good lunch at Ibrox, obviously. Went to Loudon for a couple of drinks. There was a few songs on and that, so that was quite good. I like the songs and that, so that was decent. And then I ended up in the Viceroy, wasn't it? And it was, that was eventful. Obviously, the table next to us had a disagreement at one point, and I dodged a bottle that hit my pint and it went all over you. So it was eventful.
It was eventful. We were in the middle of, in fact, I'll say thanks to everybody for the great response we've had just for the wee video that we've done outside Ibrox. It's been brilliant, the response that we had from that. But we were in the middle of trying to do a video during the disagreement that happened, and yeah, it's not edible, put it that way. It all escalated very, very quickly, but it was a good day. It was good to, as well, we jumped into the Quayside for one. That was our old stomping ground, mate, and it was good to see a few of the old locals, mate, see their faces. It's been a long time since we've seen them, so it was good. It was good to see Tommy as well, not seen him in ages, man. So it was a good day. Just a good day. Almost felt normal, mate, didn't it? Almost felt like we were back to normal.
Yeah, no, fine. No, it was a good day.
Good day. Anyway, so we are here to discuss Rangers news and I say the Euros. But just before we do, I first and foremost, really, we're all of us here at Club at 22 wish Christian Eriksen a speedy recovery after he suffered a cardiac arrest in Denmark's match v Finland. It was absolutely heartbreaking to see. I'm sure everybody has seen it. I know it was shared about rightly or wrongly. After it happened, I was watching the game live with my missus at the time, and it was pretty harrowing to watch. It was really the most horrific thing that I've really ever seen. But it's good that he's recovering anyway. He's awake and he's in hospital. And we just have to give a massive well done to the medical staff and for the Danish players, the way they responded while it happened. It was truly horrific. But Ali, it's good to hear that he's at least stable and awake and been able to talk.
Yes. I mean, I watched it live. We watched it in the Quayside, me, Scotia, and Lee, and it was. It's probably one of the worst things I've witnessed live. Watching it on telly, having to see that through BBC. Obviously, I think they've come out and said it was UEFA's cameras. That's why they weren't in control of it, apparently. But that's another story anyway. But it's fair play to the Denmark captain. He's first aid trained. He was straight in the scene and knew what to do, and the medics as well have saved his life. If it wasn't for them, and a defibrillator as well there, if they didn't have that, he may no longer be with us at the age of 29, which is shocking to say at that age. A guy as fit as he is, but no, you've seen the social media posts. He's posted himself saying he's feeling as well as can be. Obviously, the medics are trying to get to the bottom of what happened to him, but he's still with us, which is the main thing, and hopefully he makes a speedy recovery.
Yeah, I'll echo all of that, mate. Definitely the worst thing I've probably ever seen watching a game of football. It was really eye-opening and really uncomfortable watching. But again, it's just so good that they managed to get him stable and to get him to hospital, and we just wish him all the best. So we'll move on. Rangers fixtures have been announced for the upcoming season, and it starts off with Livingston at home, and it will be shown on Sky Sports. So, Ali, you've obviously had a chance to look at the fixtures. It's amazing that the supercomputer has managed to put the first Old Firm so early on, mate, and still managed to make a game around the new year happen. It's quite an amazing computer, I think we'll all find. But I mean, Livy at home, mate. The countdown is on now. Let's just get going.
Yeah, we all had a wee guess at who we thought it might be. I know we've had Aberdeen umpteen times the last few seasons, to be honest, but I've looked at Celtic's previous when they've unfurled the flag, and they've always got a kind of a lower team, if you want to call it, a Hamilton or somebody to probably get them going, to be honest. And I expected us to get a team like that. I think I said Dundee or something. So when Livingston came out, I was more than happy with that. Then we've got 2 away games, but they're winnable games. But I mean, the supercomputer, whatever you want to call it, the only reason they gave Celtic the very, very last game last season was to try and get fans in at that point, because they didn't know what was happening. We'll probably come on to it, I don't know, but obviously we've got a 3-week extension to what we're in at the moment in terms of level 2 to then go to level 0 apparently, and that's not set in stone either. Why have they not put this game as the last game out of all the teams again, to give a chance of maybe a full house at Ibrox? And we all know why, because there's a chance that that's not going to be a full house in the August 28th, whatever it is. I very much doubt it, the way things are going. I don't think it'll be a full house. Gives them an added advantage, we know, with not having all us there. So doesn't shock me, to be honest, having it there. I mean, traditionally, to be fair, all the old firms, the first old firm is always first week, second week, third week, September. That's usually when it is. But it's because what they did last season with that one. So it doesn't shock me. But at the end of the day, you need to play these teams at some point. That's how you win the league. So it doesn't really bother me that much. I just thought in terms of the fans getting back in, and that's the one you really pay your season ticket money for, the old firms. I just thought if they'd pushed it a wee bit further back, it would have given us maybe a better chance of all getting into the ground to see that game.
Yeah, beer probably scepticals or whatever you would call it, mate. I am not surprised that the game, the first Old Firm game's early. I'm really not, because you're right, mate. Call it a supercomputer or not, it's nothing to do with a supercomputer. It's somebody that sits down and figures this stuff out. The way they managed to do the Old Firm last year, the first Old Firm last year, and now the first one this year's, so there's not going to be a full house at Ibrox. Colours, paranoid colours, what you will, but I think we all know as Rangers fans exactly why it's happened, mate, and it's as you've said. Now, I'm not going to sit and pick out games of what I think is going to be the most important, because they're all important. We need to win every single game. We're Rangers fans, that's what we expect. But I mean, in terms of the start of the season for Livingston at home, I mean, it's brilliant. I think the kick-off's at 1:30. I'm sure. The kick-off's at 1:30 on Sky Sports. Obviously, it'll be Flag Day as well. So, yeah, I mean, the Old Firm being that early could really be a good thing for us, to be honest, because I'm not going to say that I'm scared in any way of Big Ange coming in to take over at Parkhead. The guy doesn't intimidate me at all, and he's got a lot of work to do. So if they drop points, mate, in the first 2-3 games before they play us, we could already be building up a head of steam at this point if we win the Old Firm. So obviously I'm not going to say we're definitely going to win the Old Firm, but I'm quietly confident going into this season, put it that way. I've not really got much of a fear. Obviously December is mobbed with fixtures, as it always has to be mobbed, and with it Boxing Day, we're at home as well, St Mirren. Always a game on Boxing Day. But
away at Aberdeen before we are away at Celtic as well. I think we're away at Hibs, away to Motherwell that one in December. And I don't know why we get it every single year. It's like the gauntlet in December, and it's always these tough, if you want to call them tough away ties of Hibs, Aberdeen, Motherwell, etc. I don't know if Hearts are in, I'm not sure, but it's a hell of a December once again. And obviously the January dreaded winter break is back as well.
Aye, but that's exactly why they do it, though. It's because of a stupid the winter break that they do. I hate the winter break. I just don't see the need for it at all. But it's to squeeze as many games in as possible and to get as much football on the telly as possible. Just on that, before we move on, the SPFL have now got a sponsor for the Premiership, and it's Cinch, who are an online car company or something. Ryland or something was in their advert. The Cinch Premiership, mate, doesn't sound great, doesn't it?
I've never heard of it, to be honest. That's the first I've ever heard of it. Doesn't surprise me, to be honest, with them.
No, we're struggling to get. I think any sponsorship would have done them, mate. To be honest, because we're really struggling. Again, this is the people that are in charge of our league. But yeah, I mean, now that the fixtures are out, it's now just let's go. I can't wait for the season to start. And Livingston at home, I'm sure Martindale's pretty chuffed as well that he'll get to see the flag unfold at Ibrox, so can't really complain. So Ali, just before we move on to into the Euro stuff, you want to talk about the COVID rules you've seen?
Yeah, when we kind of briefly discussed it there a wee bit, but obviously Nicola Sturgeon, obviously England have put a 4-week extension onto their unlocking, and that's a full unlocking in England. We're different up here. As of the 28th of June, we were supposed to all go into level 0, which still has a lot of restrictions within it, which you find mad at level 0. You think that would be it, but no. Obviously, we've had a 3-week extension onto that, so that brings us into the middle of July. Obviously, we've got the Arsenal game coming up. Potentially another home game, which I think we said Brighton was a possibility, maybe the 24th of July. I've seen rumours going about Twitter today. Now, I take rumours on Twitter at a pinch of salt, to be honest, but sometimes they come from somewhere, and there is a bit of truth in some of them. But there's a few rumours going about today saying that potentially the first home game of the season against Livingston for the flag could have as little as 2,000 fans in the stadium, which I find it hard to believe, but it wouldn't surprise me with the Scottish Government. And if it is the case, and again, this is a rumour on Twitter, so don't take that. You've got 12,000 fans, obviously, at Hampden, and obviously Scotia's not here to tell us about his experience and what went on there. But if that is the case, going into the first home game of the season, it's pretty shocking if that is the case. But again, I take it as a pinch of salt. It's rumours on Twitter. But some of these things come from somewhere. And it's, I mean, we discussed one of the points, I think it was your dad, that was about when do you think fans will be back? And this 3-week break in terms, I did say friendlies, I thought would be back to maybe 10, 12,000 fans. And I think we could be struggling to go in the friendlies again this summer. I really do. I looking at full houses. I mean, I watched Hungary Portugal the other night. That was a full house stadium, name Arsenal, and it looked like going back in time. To be honest, it was brilliant, and that was a lot of them where you had to be vaccinated or you had to show a COVID test 72 hours before going into the ground. And yeah, I just hope the Scottish Government and SPFL and Rangers and everyone are getting their heads together, because we really need to get fans back in. I mean, we're paying a lot of money for season tickets again this season, and I just hope we get back in. I don't know what your thoughts are on obviously this 3-week break they've put on.
Well, mate, it's never going to end this. Like, again, I don't want to get too political and all this, mate, and get too deep down a rabbit hole with it. But it's just never going to end. It's just constant, and look, I understand that there's need for restrictions and stuff and whatever they want to do, but they've made the rod for their own back, letting people into Hampden, so they can't now turn round at the start of the season and say, oh no, we're going to take that back and go back a step. There's no real reasoning for it. As far as I'm concerned, it's pretty much outside. I know you need to go through inside in order to get outside to your seat within Ibrox. I understand that, but they could do staggered entrances. They could do everything like that they need to do to comply with all these distancing rules and how many people you can do this and that for. But we're at the point where we just need to start trying to get life back to normal. And you're right, mate, we are paying money for season tickets, and I've not paid my season ticket this year to sit and watch it on RTV. Again, we've both had our first COVID jag as well, mate. I don't see the point in me going to get a second one if I can't actually do anything different with my life. It seems completely pointless. So I don't want to disappear down rabbit holes, mate, but if I had to put money on it, there'll be no fans in friendlies over the summer. I wouldn't even say she would she'll let 500 in, never mind 2,000, mate. And in terms of the first game of the season, I think there'll be a bit of an uproar if she's not looking to at least put half the capacity of Ibrox in. You see the way the rest of the world are doing things. I don't understand why Scotland need to be different when the cases are really not that high, and everything seems to be on a kind of downward slope. So look, we'll wait and see. As I say, I don't want to make this all a bit political, but I just can't see how she's possibly going to let us enjoy Trophy Day the Flag Day, the way that we want to enjoy it. I just don't see it happening. Do you think it will happen?
Anything could happen with her, to be honest. But I would say, I know England have got their 4-week stop going into their all restrictions gone, but I do know if they make it into the groups, the knockout stages, England, they're going to open Wembley to 50% capacity, which brings them up to what, 50,000 or something? Is it 100,000 Wembley holds or something? 90,000 or something? So
90,000 or something, yeah.
Something like that. So they'll be ramped up. You're looking around the world through the Euros, especially. They vary from 25 to 30% to 50% to 65%. I've seen was one. So I would like to think the first game of the season, me personally, there should be half the support there. 25,000 should be there. I really do. An outdoor event, and then you've got the Celtic game as the second home game of the season. I don't know how they do that. That's going to be an absolute nightmare. But yeah, we'll just need to wait and see. But I think hopefully in the next couple of weeks we should maybe know more, because I'd like to think somebody will come out and give fans an idea of what's going to happen. I understand stopping it for 3 weeks to ramp up the vaccinations. That's what they're doing. But when it gets to a point where we get our vaccinations, they need to unlock and let us get back to normal life. And hopefully that is back in our seats at Ibrox.
Fingers crossed, mate, honestly. Fingers crossed. There's nothing I want more than to get back to Ibrox, mate, and to see Rangers playing with my one two eyes again. I really can't wait for it. So we just need to keep our fingers crossed. As I say, I think I just don't see the kind of reasoning behind it all. With we're kind of turned around and denied, or only 2,000 people can go. I mean, 2,000 people in Ibrox is absolutely nothing, man. Like, it's nothing at all. So yeah, it just seems to be going on forever. I'm sure everybody feels exactly the same, but we'll just need to wait and see what comes of it. So we'll move on. We'll do a roundup. What I'd intended to do a roundup of 3 players that were Rangers players that were involved in the Euros. Unfortunately, Borna is injured. There seems to have been a bit of concern about a back problem that he has, and he's had a few scans, but apparently they are hopeful that he'll be involved in upcoming games. If he's not going to be involved in upcoming games, Ali, I think the best thing for him is just to come home and get ready for next season. Yeah,
it could be a positive for Rangers possibly, because if he's not playing in the Euros, he's not in a shop window. So
literally took my point away, mate. Literally took my point away from me. You're spot on, but yeah,
that's the only positive I would say on it, to be honest. But I thought Big Hollander might have started for Sweden the other night. But to be fair, Sweden actually defended pretty well against Spain the other night. I thought Spain weren't Spain at all, to be honest. I thought they looked a bit predictable. Spain, they don't really have anyone with a bit of magic in there anymore. Morata up front was horrific, to be honest. No wonder Chelsea got rid of him. But obviously you'll come on to Glenn Kamara. He's the one we all thought we may lose this season, and he's the one that's been starring in the show.
No, not half, mate. In terms of Big Hollander, I thought we'd see him. I think we will probably see Hollander at some point through one of the games. And as I say, with Borna, I just need to hope that he's okay, and if he's fit enough to play, then okay. If he's not, then get back. But yeah, you literally took the point away from me, mate, that I'm selfishly happy that he's not playing, because it means that nobody's watching him and want to put a bid in for him. But we'll move on to our man Glenn Kamara. He's only the one to really report on. He had a very impressive first match in Finland's 1-0 win in Denmark. Okay, it was in controversial circumstances, but he impressed, and I've just finished watching him against Russia. Finland got beat 1-0 in the game, but and it won't live long in the memory. It was quite a poor game, but as you would expect, Kamara was a standout for Finland. Just a shame the rest of his teammates really couldn't play to a third of his level, but he was doing his usual Kamara turn. He was just playing the passes that Kamara plays, and he's very much putting himself in the shop window. Whether he's meaning or not to, I think it's just he's a standout in a very average team in Finland. But there's going to be massive interest shown in Kamara. Unfortunately, with rumours of English Premiership teams, English teams having a look at him, Watford and Brighton have been linked with him. So I think we've got to brace ourselves.
Yeah, we've said it for weeks, months, probably about Kamara in terms of we're going to have to. We all know, all the Rangers fans know, and if you don't, you're kidding yourself, son. We need to sell somebody this year. It's a business model, Rangers. We can't go the way we're going. So somebody has to go. Somebody has to. As much as we don't want anyone to go, somebody has to. And I think if you asked 100 Rangers fans, I think about 90% of them would come back and probably say Kamara's the one. Especially in these Euros. I fancied Finland against Denmark. I was 11-1 the bet was, and I kept saying about it. I was going to put it on, and bloody Lee talked me out of it, saying, "No, there's no chance." Talked me out of it. And to be fair, I think Finland had a slight advantage when they replayed that game. I probably don't think that game should have been played, but that's a different discussion. But that probably helped Finland. But in that game, he just does what he does for us. He just looks like a Rolls Royce in the middle of the park. The way he drives with a ball, his turns. I mean, I didn't see him today because I was working, but yeah, I heard they missed a penalty, Finland, in the first half. I think first 5 minutes. I think
I didn't see it. I only seen it towards the end of the first half.
They missed a penalty apparently, but yeah, I mean they're still in a good position to come out of that group, which looked a bit of a kind of group of death for them when you looked at it at the beginning of the Euros, but. Yeah, we'll be bracing ourselves for offers. And I've said it before, I'd value him. I mean, if English clubs are looking at him, I'd want top dollar for him, for English clubs. I mean, I've seen a boy today, a defender from Brighton, I've never even heard him, getting touted to go to Arsenal for £40 million. And it's madness down there. And if you want to be serious with Glenn Kamara, I would value him in the 12 to 15 million. That's where I would stick him in. If you want to be serious,
I think with an English team, mate, I think your 15 million minimum, 15 million in an English Premiership team, mate, is nothing. It is absolutely nothing to them. So yeah, I think that's minimum, mate. And I would be pushing for 20, honestly, especially if it's going to be the Premiership. Kamara's destined for big things. He's far too good a player just to be. No disrespect to us as Rangers, but he's probably too good for Rangers, let's be honest. He can play at a much higher level, and unfortunately we probably won't get to the level that he wants to be or he could play at any time kind of soon. So we're going to need to brace ourselves that Kamara will be drawing attention. People are going to be made aware of him before the Euros even started, though, mate. He was brilliant in the Europa League for us. He's played a lot of games for us this season. Such an impact on the team and the midfield in the middle of the park. And yeah, in terms of business sense, I mean, the guy cost us 50 grand. I've said it, I don't know how many times, and we're going to sell him for a fortune. I mean, it'll probably be a record fee, I would imagine, when Kamara goes for Rangers, and it's. I mean, I'll be gutted if it goes. I really will be. But again, this is just. It's where we are. It's where we play football. It's the league that we play football in, mate. These things are always going to happen. But yeah, I mean, in terms of going back to the Euros, him playing in the Finland team, he's just miles above anybody in that team. He really is. He's absolutely superb. I know Pukki plays for Finland as well. He's not fit. He doesn't look fit. He's not really done anything at all. He didn't look that great today in the parts of the game against Russia that I've seen. But again, Kamara was just doing Kamara things, just being Glenn Kamara. So the only thing that's pissing me off is that the BBC commentators can't say his name right.
Kamara.
Oh, mate, honestly, how hard is it to say Kamara? I know, how hard is it? Very, very, very. Every time they say it.
Clive tells him when he first took over commentary at RTV, he couldn't say it either until obviously folk kicked up a fuss about it. It's not
Every time
hard,
they say,
Kamara, I know.
I know every time they say it to BBC, I'm like, it's Kamara.
Yeah.
It's not his name. Stop saying Kamara. It's very, very irritating. But that's the only thing that's annoyed me regarding Glenn Kamara. Really, he's been very impressive. So we'll move on and we'll do a wee roundup of the Euros so far, mate. So just go through the home nations. So Wales were one each with Switzerland. I didn't see that game. From what I have seen and what I've read, were they lucky to get away with a draw?
Yeah, it's Switzerland had a goal for the last couple of minutes, ruled offside. It was offside. Switzerland probably deserved to win the game, to be honest. But fair play to Wales. They got a big guy up front. I forgot his name. He scored for them. But now they look decent enough, Wales. I've seen bits of them tonight as well. We're recording this. I've seen the first half. They should be one up against Turkey at the moment. They've missed a few. Ramsey should have squared a ball. They've missed a right good few chances, which could come back and bite them. But if they win today, Wales, I think that's them pretty much. That's them through, I think, into the knockouts. But they look decent, Wales, to be fair. I thought they were looking well organised. They've got Gareth Bale. They've got the boy for James for Man United, who's tricky winger. They've obviously got Ramsey as well. So they've got a decent squad, Wales, and I actually fancy them against Turkey. Just watching the first half, I think they could get 3 points there.
Yeah, I've literally just pulled it up, mate. So it's 6 o'clock now as we're recording, and they're 1-0 up. Aaron Ramsey scored. Aaron Ramsey scored in the 42nd minute. It's half time now, but Aaron Ramsey scored. Well, he definitely had 2 sitters in the first half, mate. Yeah. So he's made up for them by scoring. But yeah, I would fancy Wales against Turkey. Turkey are not great. They're really not that great at all. But we'll move on. So England v Croatia. England running out 1-0 winners. A goal from Raheem Sterling. I watched this match. I know you missed it, Ali. England just flatter to deceive every time I watch them. They really do. I'm like, why are you not better than the players that you have in that team? Why are you not better? And for any who have listened to me and Ali, we are not the biggest international football fans at all. We don't really have many allegiances when it comes to international football. But obviously England are now going to win the Euros, mate. That's all the BBC commentators and ITV commentators. That's it. They're going to win the Euros. But I mean, they just flatter to deceive. It's hard to judge, really, to be honest. I mean, Croatia weren't great either, but it wasn't that an exciting game, to be honest. That exciting a game. That boy Phillips that plays for England, he impressed. I've not really seen much of him playing. He was really good. But I mean, but apart from that, I mean, they've been. We'll see. Once they come up against a decent team, look, I fancy them now to get through that group, no problem at all. I don't think they'll have any issue coming out of the group. But do you see any of the game against England? No.
I've seen bits. Yeah, I seen the goal. I seen the goal. It was a good ball through for that boy you were talking about. Boy plays for Leeds. Sterling put it away, but Croatia, they're not what they were. I know when they got to the final of the World Cup. In the last one, but they're not what they are. England historically kind of start competitions slowly, to be honest. So I wasn't shocked. It was 1-0. In fact, my mum's work every year we do the Euros or World Cup, and you fill in the scores what you think it was going to be. I had on my sheet 1-0 England because that's what I thought. That's what happened. It was so didn't shock me, to be honest. Obviously, we'll come on to Scotland, but I'd expect England to ramp up when they play us on Friday night, to be honest. And yeah, I know we'll talk about Scotland, but I fully expect England to beat Scotland.
Yes. So I think that's England's first game as well. That's the first time they've won the first game of a European Championships as well. So I mean, we'll see. We'll wait and see. I don't get blown away when I watch England. I really don't. But yeah, we'll move on to the last of the home nations that are in this tournament, and it's Scotland v Czech Republic. Scotland obviously getting beat 2-0. Now, where to start with this one? I don't want to offend a lot of people because I know a lot of people are Scotland fans. Obviously, I cheered for Scotland after they sang Flower of Scotland at the end. I gave it a come on, Scotland, let's go for this. Ali, when you pick a team full of your favourite players and not players that are going to benefit the team, you get what you deserve.
Yeah, I mean, we've said international football for us, we don't get I was down in England actually this week for work, and I was telling the guys down there, I don't get that buzz that I get with Rangers. If Rangers lose at the weekend, it ruins my weekend. If Scotland lose, it doesn't even bother me, to be honest. But to be fair, I've enjoyed the Euros so far. I actually felt myself getting up for the game, to be honest. It's quite good seeing everyone in about Glasgow, all the kilts, and everyone was kind of buzzing for it. And I spoke to Scotia at the weekend there, and I said, Steve Clarke will go up in so many people's, in terms of where we think he is, what we think he is. If he goes bold and plays Gilmour, and this isn't with Rangers hats on, I'm just going with what I see. If he goes with Gilmour and Patterson, and I thought Che Adams, I thought he was a given to start, so I'm not talking about him, I just thought he was a given to start. But we go with Gilmour and go with Patterson at right back. Be bold, be brave. I thought if he did that, people would look at Steve Clarke in a different light. And as soon as I seen the starting lineup, my heart sank, to be honest. And I text Scotia, and we all know Scotia's right up for it, and his heart sank as well. And I think a lot of the nation's heart sank and went, what's he doing? He's picking, why is Che Adams not playing? Scotland's been looking for a striker for God knows how many years. They couldn't get one. Finally got one in a lucky dip in Che Adams because his gran or something's Scottish or something. Plays for Southampton this season, banging goals in, playing well, and you don't start him. Scandalous. You play players like Christie, and he didn't have that bad a game, Christie, to be honest, but he's not kicked his own arse this season. And you just look at and O'Donnell, and I don't want to slag O'Donnell, but the guy plays for Motherwell for a reason. See, if he was decent, he would have went somewhere else. I know he went from Kilmarnock to Motherwell, signed a year's contract. His contract was up this season. Nobody's come in for him, and he's stayed on at Motherwell again. There's a reason why, because he's average. You've got Patterson ready to go. You've got Robertson down the left side. That's Scotland's only attacking threat, and he played well, Andy Robertson. But the right side, you've got nothing. There's no balance. If you've got Patterson down there, you've got the same going up and down. It doesn't shock me with Steve Clarke. You know what you're getting with him. You've seen that Kilmarnock team. I just thought if he was more bolder and braver, he would have went right up in people's views of Steve Clarke. He really would have. I would have thought a lot higher of him if he'd went with it. If Scotland beat, you would have went, right, fair enough, but at least he went out and had a right go. But he didn't. And he got, like you says, he got what we deserved.
100%, mate. And it's not just because Patterson plays for Rangers and Billy Gilmour's obviously got a Rangers connection. I can't believe that Che Adams didn't start. I'm also shocked. I know Scotland have been working on this formation in order to squeeze Tierney and Robertson in the same team. But again, these are all pros. If Tierney's not playing, why not change it? Why not change your formation? You don't need to squeeze them in now. You've now got the chance to adjust things around. And Ryan Christie playing over Che Adams is just a joke, man. Like, when I seen that, I was like, you're having a laugh. Absolutely having a laugh. Same as Armstrong as well. He's just not... He's not the best option, in my opinion. I mean, Robertson is miles ahead of anybody in that team, and it's so clear to see, obviously, the level he's playing at. He's miles ahead. And for O'Donnell, the only argument that I've seen for O'Donnell playing over Patterson is that he can win a header on the right-hand side. I'm sorry, that's not a good enough reason. That's just not good enough. He might be slightly better defensively than Patterson, but Patterson offers you so much more in terms of work rate, in terms of attacking, in terms of the willingness to get past somebody and try and do something. I mean, O'Donnell was running into Christie and that as well at one point. I mean, no, I'm sorry. It's just, it wasn't good enough. But that's before I come on to David Marshall. What is he doing? Why is he standing nearly on the centre circle? Why is he? There's no explanation for it at all. And look, the boys' finish is outstanding. I mean, it really is. It rivals Kamal Roof's goal in Europe. It really is spectacular. But what is he doing? I would literally drop him for that. And it's not just because I want McLaughlin to play. And they won't drop him because he's the hero for saving the penalty and all that. But what was he thinking?
It was a wonder goal. The boy that hit that, to have the vision to do that, wasn't as good as Roof, but that's another discussion. But no, it was a fantastic goal by the boy. But I mean, it came from Jack Henry, who the only reason he's playing in the back three, if you want to call it, is because you need a ball player in the back three. Liam Cooper's not a ball player. Grant Hanley's not a ball player. Your ball player would have been Tierney, who'd have been in there. So that's why Jack Henry was in there. What he's doing, trying to have a shot when he's got, I know we've just said about O'Donnell, but O'Donnell's free out on the right. He could play him in. Why he's having a shot from there is beyond me. It's ricocheted in for Marshall to be that far out. I don't even know what he's doing. He's miles outside his. I know you have the sweeper keeper. That's the modern keeper in these days. But you would stand.
He's not a sweeper keeper. That's the thing. No, he's not.
but if you're told to play the sweeper keeper, and that's what they're told to play, you would stand the edge of your box or something. He's way up. And the guy even said in his interview, he's seen him in the first half that high up the park, and you see him when he has the shot. He has the look. He sees him way off the line and chips him. And as soon as it went 2-0, it was done. It was dead. You could tell by the fans as well. But I mean, David Marshall, he's an all right goalkeeper. I'm not going to slag him. He's a decent enough goalkeeper. Is he the best out of the three that's there? It's debatable, to be honest. I would say probably not, to be honest. He can't get a game for Derby, who nearly got relegated this season in the Championship. So, yeah, he's living off of... And I think a lot of players in that Scotland squad that got a game on Monday night are living off of past getting through. And the only reason Scotland get through, and this isn't bashing Scotland, is they get through a back door. It was near enough harder not to qualify for the Euros because they made it easier. They get through in penalties.
You still needed a penalty shootout to get through.
Penalty shootout against Israel and Serbia to get through. So there's a lot of players there that are living off of that, and that's not the way it should be. You want to move forward, and I said that to Scotia at the weekend. I said, Scotland shouldn't be wanting to stand still and play. They should be moving forward. You've got a great talent in Billy Gilmore, and he come on in that friendly, and he just demands the ball, wants the ball. I just thought, play him, and Patterson would give you the balance on the right-hand side. But wasn't brave enough for Steve Clarke. And what he's going to do against England, I really don't know. I really don't know.
Be a 6-4-0, I would imagine, against England. I think he'll do everything to try and get a point out of that game, because if England show up, mate, England will rip Scotland apart. Yeah. I can't see any other way around that, really, which is disappointing, really. I'm still going to be right up for it. I love the England-Scotland games. I mean, they're brilliant. It's great, and I'm looking forward to watching it. But yeah, it's sad. It really is. It's such a shame that Steve Clarke decided to make that decision to do that. But the best thing to come from the game really has just been all the memes that have been made up of David Marshall, and when he's been jumping into the net. The one with the New Zealand cricket team, or the Australian cricket team, that was quite a good one. And the one last night with that parachute guy came into the stadium.
He nearly took out
I know
French manager.
They shot. I know. He nearly took him out. That was pretty.
That was
funny.
A Greenpeace activist or something. Aye.
Oh, yeah. Was it?
Yeah, that's what it was. Aye.
That was pretty funny. But the memes have been pretty funny with David Marshall. There's a lot of them. There's even one of him hanging off the lamppost outside Ibrox with that guy that climbed the lamppost. Oh, brilliant. But anyway, we'll leave that there. I'd say it's Scotland, England on Friday night, 8 p.m. kickoff. Be an interesting game. I'll definitely still watch it no matter what. So just before we go, just other notable scores. So Italy 3, Turkey 0. Italy are dark horses. Would you say that?
Yeah, I was. Italy are traditionally known as defensive. Nick, I goal 1-0, and that's it. Really, job done. But I was very impressed with Italy. To be fair, Turkey it was Turkey, wasn't it, they were playing?
Aye, Turkey.
Aye. Turkey were very poor. Turkey reminded me of Motherwell. It reminded me of a Rangers Motherwell game because they just sat there and did nothing. They offered nothing. Yeah. And Turkey got everything they deserved, to be fair. But I thought Italy, the way they moved the ball about, the boy on the left-hand side was really good. And Insigne was good too. They're a dark horse, I think, for this competition. I was very impressed with Italy.
Yeah, me too, mate. I was impressed with Italy. They did move the ball really well. So Portugal as well, they beat Hungary 3-0. You mentioned the full stadium earlier on, mate, but also Cristiano Ronaldo now has broke the record for the most goals in European Championships. Incredible. The guy is, I mean, you can't really put into words how good Cristiano Ronaldo is.
I mean, what age is he? 36, 37 or something? He's
Don't know.
doesn't really matter to us. I quite liked he did the press conference and there's two bottles or 2 cans of Coca-Cola. Obviously, they're a sponsor for the Euros. And he just picked him up and put a bottle of water there as if to say that's what you should be drinking. So they like Coca-Cola, we're too happy with that. But
I don't know if he's got a Pepsi sponsorship thing or something maybe though as well. I'm not sure.
But it's that's the way he lives his life. You could say, like, Jermaine Defoe is clean cut. He looks after himself, Ronaldo, and it's phenomenal when you think of the goals he scored. And I had actually 2-0 written down in my prediction for that one, so he ruined that for me. But it was what else can you say about Ronaldo? And he is when he finally hangs his boots up. I don't know who Portugal will be hanging there. Well, who'll be the main man for Portugal, because he drags that team through games. He really does, and he gets them going. And fair play to him. He's a fantastic player. Fair
play to him, an absolute legend of the sport. He really is. His stats are just incredible. They really, really are. But I put your money on him finishing Golden Boot winner this tournament. I'd say that. So last night as well was France v Germany, the kind of biggest game of the round, as everybody was saying. I mean, the game was okay. I enjoyed watching it, don't get me wrong. There was quite a lot of good movement from both teams. I think Germany can maybe consider themselves a wee bit unlucky towards the end of that game that they didn't manage to get an equaliser. But one thing about France is they are frightening, mate, on the counter-attack. Mbappe is unnatural how fast he is.
Yeah, I thought the first half was a bit, wasn't great, to be honest, but it was... France had obviously 2 goals in the last 10 minutes, ruled for offside. But Germany maybe could have nicked it to make it 1 each. But France deserved to win the game, to be fair to them. But not Mbappe. He must be a nightmare to defend against. His speed, the way he turns, the way he can finish. He's an all-round striker. And I mean, their front three of Mbappe, Benzema was in there, and Griezmann, who I thought worked really well as well. But
you did.
They must be. I've not looked at the bookies. They must. I would say they're probably the favourites to win the Euros. France. They're a frightening team. Obviously, Kante in the middle of the park as well. And it was good with McCoist and Tilsley again commentating last night. They're absolutely brilliant together. And
they are.
Some of the wee jokes they do and stuff. I think they were on about Kante. I think he skinned 3 players at one point, and they couldn't believe when we did it. And I think Tilsley says he must be bad at something, like he can't cook or something. But it's quite funny, the two of them together. But in terms of France, no. Yeah, you'd fancy them to go pretty much all the way. They are one of the front runners.
No, 100%. It's when you see Mbappe when he chases after a ball and there's ground in front of him, he's so fast. I don't think I've ever seen anybody as fast as him. He's absolutely rapid. But I also think France have got another couple of gears to hit into yet.
Yeah.
I think if they really had to, they could have turned the screw last night. And just finally, Belgium beating Russia 3-0. Russia really didn't do anything in that game. They weren't great at all. But Belgium are another team, mate. I think if they perform, if all their players perform the way that they can, they could get themselves towards the final.
Yeah, I didn't see much of this game. It was on in the background, but it was I seen Lukaku scored. But again, they'll be one of the favourites along with France and Italy and Germany, probably England, if you want to say too, that are favourites to lift the trophy. But it's they're a good team. Lukaku, I've got in my fantasy team for the Euros up front, so he scored the goal, so that got me some good points. But they're a good team, Belgium.
So you've seen every team now, Ali. Who are you fancying for the tournament?
Well, I'm just watching Wales. Oh, Gareth Bale's just actually skied a penalty for Wales there. Oh God, wait you see this one. Oh, it was awful.
I need to watch it back.
That was awful. In terms of I had to pick somebody right now after watching everyone. Oof, France.
It's hard not. Yeah, it's hard not to think France, mate. Their team's just so full of superstars. It really is, and it's just if they get their counter attack right, mate. I mean, they probably should have won that game 3-0 last night. To be honest, I know obviously two were offside, but it was very very marginal. But yeah, I think if they click into gear and the counter attack works the way it should, then there's nobody stopping them. I don't think. Italy as well. I'll give a wee outside shout to Italy. I think Italy could surprise a few and maybe get to the final. But yeah, my money would be on France as well. So just before I wrap up, just a quick touch on the Copa America. So Alfredo has finished his isolation and he's over his positive COVID test and he made the bench for Colombia's first match, in the Copa America. He wasn't brought on, but it was good to see him back. Colombia won that game 1-0, so just good to see wee Alfredo back. So Ali, that will pretty much do us for today, mate. Not a lot of Rangers news, but still good to be able to sit down and have a talk about football, mate. So yeah, that'll do us, mate, and we'll probably meet up again this time next week, mate. So thank you very much for your time.
No problem. Hopefully there'll be a wee bit of news next week with Rangers. Maybe the kits might be coming out soon. That's the next one. They're usually out end of June. So yeah, I'm looking forward to. Obviously, it's our birthdays coming up next weekend as well. I'm the 25th of June. You're the 26th of June.
Yeah,
couldn't have scripted that, but so yeah, go out for a few drinks next weekend, celebrate that. So I hope there's a wee bit of Rangers news and yeah, see what happens in terms of Euros as well.
Yeah, strips and hopefully a Connor Goldson contract signing would be quite good as well. That'd be quite nice. But yeah, mate, magic. So just a shameless plug. Please, if you haven't, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, give us a wee 5-star rating on Apple Podcast, leave a comment and share anywhere that you can. It really does help support us, really helps support the channel, and it makes a huge difference to us. So thank you to everybody for listening. We are Club at 22, the Champions Podcast, and we'll speak to you all next time. Cheers.